I don't know how your relationship is with your child, but I'm going to tell you that how you can successfully ruin your relationship with your child. 10 tips and the success is guaranteed. Number 1, when your child is a baby and he cries, because babies cry, let him cry. Don't pick him up, never, because he will get used to you holding him, and that's definitely not good. And if he cries too much, put him in the baby bed and leave him there to cry. And if it disturbs you, because they cry a lot, and if it disturbs you, just close the door. Okay, you will not hear him or her, and you will be in peace. So that's my tip number 1. That is when they are a baby. And when they get older, and here's the tip number 2, they start breaking things because they want to do everything themselves. They want to drink themselves and then throw the glass over the table. What you should do, if they break a glass, what you should do is get angry, really angry. And if you can shout like,
"What have you done? You are going to pay for this."
And if he starts crying at that moment, because he will, especially tell him,
"You are acting like a baby."
And when your child gets older, he will want to wear his own clothes. And you should actually never allow that. But if you do allow, because you accidentally become a nice parent, if you do allow him and he puts on his favorite clothes, which look like this, humiliate him.
"What are you wearing?"
Try also adding a sentence like,
"You don't have any sense for fashion."
And when you go out with your child and someone asks his name, definitely answer in his place, but you should encourage him to answer. And that would be better. And you could say like,
"She's asking you a question. Are you going to reply? Why are you not answering? Wait till we get home."
Number 5. And if he's not doing something that you asked him to do, like, for example, you asked him to clean his room and he didn't do that, what you have to do. You have to threat him, okay?
"If you don't clean your room in 10 minutes, you will not have dinner."
That's quite reasonable threat, I think. And if they still don't clean the room, because, anyways, they don't like the way you cook, right? You can make it a little bit worse, the threat, I mean. You can say something like,
"If you don't obey to me, then leave this house. This is my house."
Number 6 is that if he tells you something to you about his friends, tell them how his friends are having a bad influence on him. And especially tell them,
"When I was your age, I had a lot of fun with my friends and my friends were really good. This generation absolutely does not obey."
That's something you really want to consider adding because it can make a big difference. Okay, number 7. If your child tells his problems to you, well, actually, if you apply to the first 6 tips that I gave you, he will not tell you his problems. But say that you skipped one of those tips that I gave and your child comes to you with his problems. Ignore it. Totally ignore it. Even better, minimize it. Tell them how difficult you had when you were a child, and that now they have everything. They have so many things that you did not have in your childhood, so that they should be thankful for what they have. And if they achieve something, tell them that their one-time achievement doesn't mean anything to their whole life of failure. You can try to memorize those sentences. Remind them of all the times they failed in life, because you have to do this, because you don't want your children to become arrogant. You want them to be good person. If he achieves something, but like it could have been better, you can take the example of his friends. Those friends that you don't like anyways. Those friends, you can use their examples and say,
"Oh, but he, what he did? He did that, and that was so good. This achievement that you brought is nothing compared to that."
And number 9, if someone asks how your kids are doing, lie to them about their health and especially about their mental health. Lie to them. Well, not exactly lying in the sense that we just say it's a lie, but you know what I mean. Tell them like,
oh, they are doing perfectly fine. They are doing such a great job. He's so nice, mashallah. They are the greatest kids I could ever have, ever.
When you have applied to those 9 tips, I can guarantee you that sooner or later they will have mental health problems. And if they do, they will tell you at some point in life that they don't feel well and that they don't want anything for dinner. That's the sign, okay? So especially on that day, you have to go out and buy groceries and spend the whole evening cooking their favorite meal and give it to them. And when they don't eat it, you tell them, listen carefully, you tell them,
I spent the whole evening cooking for you, and this is how you act?
You are so ungrateful.
For those of you who have watched till now, I have a bonus tip, and that is, you see, if you apply to those 10 tips, I guarantee you, after 20 years of your child living with you, you will have ruined your relationship with your child. You know, who wants to wait 20 years? Some things can happen in 10 years, and the secret to it is to hit your kids. Yeah, that's the bonus tip. If your child breaks something, well, first hit and then get angry. If they're not doing something you want them to do, well, first hit and then threat them. Yeah, exactly like that. And you will see that instead of 20 years, your relationship with your child will be ruined in 10 years. This is not anything new. So many parents have already done that. I actually never had to make a video for them, but I find it quite interesting, so I did it anyways for those who don't know yet. So I want to thank you for watching this sarcastic video.